Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has called on police forces to be as transparent as possible about the ethnicity of people charged with rape and sexual assault. His comments come after Nigel Farage said authorities should release information, including immigration status, about people who are charged with these crimes, in particular the suspects in an alleged rape of a 12-year-old. So should we be told the ethnicity of criminals? Do you think people need to know that information, Mariella? What do you think about what Keir Starmer has said and Nigel Farage?
I think first and foremost, that's a horrific crime. The 12-year-old. And I think, obviously, what we'd like to see in this country, and I think, an awful lot of women might agree, is that there's more than a 1.9% conviction rate for rape. And I don't really see what the immigration status or the ethnicity of the perpetrator of a crime like that, I don't see how that helps in any way to establish that a crime has been committed and that they're brought to justice and are prevented from, committing that crime with other people. I think that the whole debate, I'm afraid, about immigration or migrants in this country at the moment is just toxic and extremely overheated. And I think we need to calm it down because I think we're confusing things. You've got boats coming across the channel. That is a crime. These are gangs that are organising those, and that needs to be stopped. But that doesn't mean that we need to dehumanise the people who do come to this country or criminalise them. And I really think that throwing in the ethnicity or the immigration status is completely irrelevant.
I think it seems, Janet, as well, that the police, they're kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't, because there have been times when they haven't released the ethnicity of someone who has been arrested or charged, and then people have made their own conclusions. Sometimes, having a kind of protest or a riot outside somewhere where actually they've got the wrong person. But then if they do release it, that can also incite riots and violence.
Of the person that drove their car into the crowds in Liverpool, and the police quickly said it was a white male. So you have to... there's no consistency here. There does need to be a policy, and it seems here that Keir Starmer has decided that policy should be that everybody's status should be revealed at the outset.
But do you think that's sometimes to protect migrants sometimes?
Well, at the
people
moment,
often automatically will assume.
Yes, but at the moment, today is the day that Keir Starmer's brand new policy of dealing with the boat people has become law. So his policy of one in, one out is going to be put into force over the coming weeks or months. But we all acknowledge that that is a drop in the ocean. If 25,000 people have come here so far this year, illegally, on these boats, it's a hot topic for everybody in this country because that's a large number of people. And I don't think that discussing for Keir Starmer to weigh in now is helpful, because we have already got hotspots in city centres where these migrants are being put in 4-star hotels in areas like the City of London, round the corner from where I used to live, and in Canary Wharf, in the East End of London, which is a financial district. You have to wonder the mentality of the people who are charged with finding appropriate accommodation for this huge influx of people that we are not dealing with. But then
somebody would say, well, where do you put them? Where do you put them?
Well, in my humble opinion, I think before they can be processed, they should be put in disused army camps or airfields or army bases that aren't being used.
But didn't they do that, and then people said, "Oh, that's inhuman," and they're not designed for that.
So, I think in the end, it's not about where you put people; it's how we talk about people. One in, one out. That's so dehumanising.
I'd just like to say something based on this, because for myself, growing up over the years, something that has always been negative is the media portrayal of anybody that's not white. And I've seen things on telly where I'm like, because you see the media saying this black man did this, or this Asian man did this, or this black man did this, I don't know why the ethnicity is important. A crime is a crime. So if you're going to say it's a black man or it's an Asian man, it's a white man as well. But whenever it's... In growing up, what I used to notice was that if it was somebody that wasn't white, their ethnicity was mentioned, and if they were were not of an ethnic background. It was just a man.
But Brenda,
so why can't we all just be a
And
man?
the highest rate of rape convictions is young white men, I'm afraid.
But
not
what I'm saying
accusations,
is I
but
think the media
convictions.
have been fueling for, you know, in a negative way for people to automatically just assume if there was a crime committed, it's by somebody from an...
It's not just the media, Brenda. I agree with what you're saying, but having listened to the radio this week and listened to Robert Jenrick and listened to Nigel Farage, I would say it's highly intelligent right-wing politicians who are fueling all of
I'd
this.
take out the
and
highly
what
intelligent.
colour are those people?
Well, all right, we can take out the highly intelligent, but nevertheless, they are, Robert Jenrick and Nigel Farage are clever politicians
but they
who
also,
are seeking to increase their vote.
They're also prepared to give out facts that are not accurate, like Robert Jenrick's suggestion that the majority of these cases were to do with migrants and people of, you know, different ethnicities, when actually, as I just said, the amount of convictions for rape in this country
But you haven't
primarily
But I
white
think
men.
I got to a case where I was like, I'm hoping, because of all the negative press that is against the ethnic community, I'm just there saying, I hope it's not a black person that did that, because there's going to be a ruckus and everybody's going to be coming to attack this one or attack, you know. So I think it just needs to be consistent. If you're going to mention everybody, because we're in a world with everybody.
Bruce, can I just say one last thing, which is I think we also, you know, it's important to mention that, you know, I do feel very sympathetic to communities who feel that resources are stretched and they're being given to other people, and people who've lived here for a long time are being overlooked. So I do feel a sympathy with that. But I also think we have to remember that we're all human beings in this.
Yeah, and I think actually those... a lot of those communities, I think, feel they're not being listened to. That is a problem as well.
Yeah.
That people are worried to say, I'm concerned about the amount of people coming in. I'm concerned I can't get my children into a school. I'm concerned I can't get a
they're worried
doctor's
about being called
because they're
racist
worried
or
about
something.
being labelled racist, and they need to be listened to, those communities. Anyway, it is a big topic, and I'm sure, you know, we'll be talking about it again, as we have done a lot over the last probably 2 years, really, haven't we?